Have your sales on eBay ever sucked so bad you didn't know what to do about it? Well, ours have too, and today we're going to talk about just that and how you can work to fix it. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen, and this is
Prof Sales. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel.
Yes. Welcome.
She wanted to do the intro today, so she did.
I did the bumper.
So hopefully you guys can hear us okay. We have a live show going right now. So if you'd like to join us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we come on every week live to talk about various topics about being an entrepreneur, selling on eBay, being a reseller, thrifting, mindset, all kinds of stuff here on the channel.
The channel.
So if you have questions, please post those in the chat. We will try our best to answer them as we go. And then, of course, we'll have some time at the end to answer too.
Definitely. So if we somehow miss it, just repost and we'll catch it towards the end.
Yep, absolutely. So it's that weird time of year when sales start to pick up for eBay and really e-commerce in general, right?
Yes.
Unless you're us.
And we really did. We struggled with what to call the show or what to talk about today. I realized the word "it sucks" is a little bit crass, but let's be honest. It's honest and it's to the point. I mean, when we were talking about, how are we doing as we literally the second day of the fourth quarter is today. And we're like, well, how are we doing? Well, it really kind of sucks in our eBay world right now. So what better way to describe it than to be accurate? Yeah.
Yeah, show of hands, virtual hands in the chat. If your sales suck, let us know. And suck is kind of a subjective term, right? I mean, what does that mean? But I like to compare myself to myself because I feel like that's always a valid way to look at your business. You look at what you did last week, last month, last year, last quarter, whatever. And I'm going to be totally honest. Our sales are down a lot from last year, this same time.
That's Prof math, by the way.
Yeah,
a lot.
Not good. And we're going to get into that, like why that's happening. But I'm never going to be the person who's going to stand up here and say, "Oh, things are going amazingly well." I'm not going to get up here and say the sky is falling either, because I don't think that does any good. But if I look at it by any objective measure, by how we did last month, how we did last year at this time, with just any metric you want to look at, not doing so great on the eBay part of our business. And I see lots of other people in the chat are having the same issue.
Yes, using the same descriptive words and then some.
Really, and that's kind of strange, right? Because we're heading into fourth quarter. Like, this is the time when you should be the busiest. And last year in October was my best month on eBay for what's the core part of my business is jean sales. So we'll see how that plays out this month. But we're going to talk about, why we're down and maybe what we can do about it. And maybe you guys, we'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. We'd love to hear from you afterwards in the comments. If you're having similar issues or if you've run into these issues and you've solved them, we'd like to hear that too. Like, what did you do? What did you do differently? Nobody has a monopoly of good ideas. I certainly don't. And I don't think anybody watching does either. We all have our own opinions, but ultimately we can learn from each other. So that's what we're here for. And hopefully we'll learn from each other on the show today. So
take it away, Prof.
Yeah. So jeans are the core part of our business. And let me just pull my notes over here to make sure I don't get off track. We actually have, now here's the funny thing. We have more listings up right now than we did this time last year. We have more jeans listings up. We have shoes up, which are a different category. But I cannot say to you, well, the reason our sales are down is because we don't have a lot of listings up. That's not true. It is not true. We have more listings up than we did last year at this time. I think we are better sellers, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we know more. We've educated ourselves more about the platform, about our product, about pricing, all these things. And so I can't point to less listings and say that's the problem. I can't. But there have been some other things that have happened or have not happened that definitely have been a big part of this. So I have preached on here many times, and many other resellers do too, along with other things, but we have preached about this idea of listing consistently to kind of re-index the algorithm on eBay and make your listings appear more regularly, or whatever the secret sauce is over there at eBay headquarters. I don't know what they do with it, but there seems to be there's a theory that if you list more, you list regularly, you will sell more regularly. At least, you know, I don't know. I personally think it's true. And we have not been listing consistently. When I look back at the amount of listing we did in September, August, and July, it sucked. So, I mean, I'm just going to say, like, I mean, it's not that we didn't list anything, but we did not list anywhere near what we should have listed.
Or as consistently.
Or as consistently.
That's important too. I mean, there's a huge difference in listing 100 items the first day of the month versus, you know, 3 items every day of the month. I know that doesn't make the math, but
no, but you're exactly right. Like listing 100 items in one day versus, and pretty much 100 items versus, you know, just about 3 items a day, 100 items on the first day of the month versus 3 every day of the month. You're better off kind of listing 3 every day in a weird way. If you have to choose those, strange as that sounds, or it seems to be that's the case, but we haven't done it consistently, guys. And I bet out there in the chat, there's some other people in the same boat that here's the thing, do you really track how much you list each day? And are you tracking it? Like, are you tracking it consistently? And if you're not, then I bet you should try it for like at least a month and see if you are being consistent, because I bet a lot of people that their sales are down are not. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
It does seem to make a difference.
Yes, it does. So that is by far the #1 reason I think why our sales suck, that I can point to that's different than last year. Last year, we were much more consistent. We were on a set pace, and we did it. And somebody asked in the chat, they asked, how much should you list a day? Well, that's a great question, Thomas. And I don't know that anybody knows the answer to that, if there's some magic number in relation to like your listings, but I'm going to say it needs to be greater than 0. So start with that, even if it's just 1, you know, and I think you're going to see some differences in the way that kind of things happen. But I don't know for a fact, guys. You guys can weigh in on this, and I'm open to suggestions. But I know that is definitely a big thing that's different than last year.
Well, and somebody else in the chat asked if we list on social media and if we think that helps or hinders with regard to sales. And we do not. We only list on eBay, and we have consistently done it that way because of safeguards that are in place with eBay with regard to returns and protecting us and the customer, as well as PayPal.
Right.
So it's just something that we choose not to participate in.
Yeah, and people are asking about this idea of promoted listings in the chat. And, you know, promoted listings are still new. This idea that eBay will push your listings, your impressions across the platform, even in areas where somebody's not necessarily searching for them. And if you make a sale, they take a percentage of the sale as a fee. Basically, they're advertising it even more for you on their own platform. I think that system is still so new. I'm not sure we really know what the impact is for sellers in the aggregate. I mean, you probably need almost a whole good year's worth of data to kind of really know. And eBay is tweaking it behind the scenes. I promise you guys. I mean, they're not stupid. They're not just throwing stuff out there and saying, hey, let's just hope it works and close our eyes and keep our fingers crossed. I mean, they're gonna look at their data behind the scenes and say, all right, is this helping sellers? Is it helping buyers? Is it helping our platform? And if it's not, they'll make adjustments and course correct. So I don't know that we really know yet about promoted listings long term. Probably be good to at least get through this 4th quarter and the 1st quarter until we start getting close to that year time next year sometime. Maybe we'll see then. But I mean, it's not a horrible idea to try. If you haven't tried promoted listings, try it. And if you're not running a sale, it comes out even a lot of times, or even a little to the better. I mean, the price is not as cheap for your buyer, but you need more money. So, but we can talk about that more as we go. And I got to say, another reason, guys, is number 3 here we have on our bullet points is other projects have taken priority, which is ironic in a weird way.
That the priority is no longer the priority?
Yeah. The last 2-3 weeks, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Probably, at least
a little
probably
bit
3
longer,
weeks.
but hardcore the
Maybe
last
4.
couple of weeks.
You know, as some of you guys know, we've been working on a jeans guide, and it has taken up a lot of time. But Kaarens' time has taken up a lot of my time. But we, you know what? We believe in it so much. I think it brings so much value to the table that hopefully, you know, when it comes out, you guys will see that too, which should be theoretically here in just a few weeks. But it took a lot of time to put together. I am not going to lie to you. To do it and to do it right, you know, I think we underestimated how much time it would take.
Well, and you underestimated what a help I would be along the journey. So this one is definitely going to have a twist of the feminine to it. And all I mean by that is that the 3 of us.
Well, it's women's jeans.
The 3 of us. Well, yeah, there's that. But the 3 of us kind of are coming from different places, right?
Yes.
And we're coming together to make. I don't know. I don't want to get all mushy, but it's something special. Like, it's not just a bunch of picture of, you know, jean tags.
Right.
It's like a week plus of staying up until 1 a.m. creating this glossary, like nobody's business. I mean, 150 words, all that have to do with jeans.
Why are you giving it all away right now?
Oh, sorry. Another good or bad to having a girl in the group. She just gives it all away.
In all seriousness, though, guys, I mean, it did take a lot of time, but we felt like anything less than that wouldn't have been authentic to who we are and what we're trying to do. Because I think if you're going to put something out there and put your name on it, I don't care what it is, YouTube channel, social media, if it's your listings on eBay, you need to do it right. I mean, you need to do it to the best of your ability and try to be as helpful as you can. Also try to, you know, deliver this massive value if you can. And I think we did. So I'm happy with it. Hopefully we're in the home stretch of it now and there won't be as much, but it took up a lot of time, a lot of energy. It was well spent. It definitely took time from other parts of the business. But you know what, guys? It's like we've said before, whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to like an infinite number of other things. And that's just the way it works in life. You know, you can only be doing so many things at once. In my case, hardly even one usually, but you can do 2 or 3, it seems like. But you know, it was just another thing and we took it on, no excuses, no, you know, no regrets either. But it definitely took time and energy away from eBay for sure.
And, you know, when we were talking about putting today's show together, there's a lot of other things, just as for each one of you, that go on to make this house run smoothly, right?
Right.
You know, there are 3 of us here. There's Jason and I, and you know, Ben.
How many guys got a family out there that you're trying to navigate around your eBay business? Not easy.
No, it's not. And school just started, and there's myriad other projects. You know, it's not just. So we have like too many priorities. Is that even possible? Like, we can't make everything number 1, right?
How many guys have too many priorities?
So
I feel like you do.
So there's been a lot going on, and some of it's going to amp up now, I guess, and some of it's going to sort of level out. So we're excited that we can once again put the jeans and the jeans listings first.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to do that because you know what, guys, here it is. Like, here's the answer to the show topic. Like how we plan to fix our eBay sales. It's very, very simple. And I wish it was like some magic formula, but it really isn't a magic formula. It's very simple. And it's eBay. You start with perspective. eBay is an important part of our business. It's not the only part, but it is an important part. It is a very important part. And we got to treat it that way. And to treat it that way, we're going to have to do some certain things. It's Kaaren, you said it's not a set it and forget it platform.
No, we can't just, and we know through our recent inventory that we've got a lot of things out there in our own eBay universe, right? And it's just not the kind of thing that you can just list it and then just never do anything with it again. I mean, for crying out loud, if you've been sitting on a pair of jeans for 2 years, I know that it might not be taking up a lot of space in the grand scheme of things, but you know, it's costing you money just sitting there. You may not think it is, but it is. So yeah, there's each step along the way, you've got to tweak, you've got to revisit, you've got to, you just can't put it out there, you know, just like kids. You set them out there at the end, but there's a lot of steps along the way to get there.
No, totally agree. And, you know, yes, you can good till cancel your items and somewhat forget them, but you can't forget your business. I mean, it's whatever this is to you, whether it's your hobby, whether it's extra money, whether it's part-time, whether it's full-time, whatever it is, you can't set it and forget it. And we, you know, coming out of the summer, we did not have a tremendous amount of inventory. So, but the inventory we had, we could have done a better job listing and getting it up and keeping sort of that engine going on eBay. I figure conservatively, probably cost ourselves $3,000-4,000 in profit over the last few months. Easy, just in profit. Sales would have been higher than that, obviously, but and I'm just guessing, but just because of we did not make as much of a priority. So you got to think, is what you said yes to worth that? And that's a question only you guys can answer for yourself, because you know you've only got, nobody's got infinite time, right? 168 hours a week. We all got the same amount. So how are we going to spend it? And we got to take some of that time and energy and put it back in eBay to make sure that we're growing it in the way we said we were going to. You know, I look back at my 2017 goals. I'll have to show them to you later. It's interesting. By the way, great time to do that, guys. If you make goals for 2017, pull them out and check and see how you're doing. You're heading to fourth quarter, the busiest time of year potentially. And it's kind of eye-opening sometimes. And some of them I've met and some of them I haven't. And some things I did and some things I didn't do. And some went the way I thought and some went a different direction. But always a good time to do that. So we got to move forward with making eBay a priority.
And it's balance. We talk about balance all the time. And that eBay pyramid, if you will, you can't sell stuff if you don't list it. Right? And if you don't list it, you can't sell it. And if you don't sell it, you can't make money. And if you can't make money, you can't buy more stuff. And if you can't buy more, like it's all, so you have to find that balance, and consistency helps with the balance.
Yes. So to kind of narrow it down, you know, there was 3 things we identified that were problems for us over these last really 3 months. Not listing, not researching new opportunities, and not making it a priority. Guess what, guys? All 3 of those things are in our control. None of those are eBay's fault. None of those are the market's fault. None of those are scammy sellers or buyers' fault. Those are in our control. We could have been listing, we could have been researching new opportunities, and we could have made it a priority, but we chose not to because we chose to do other things. So, you know, I know some of you guys out there right now are probably saying, oh, well, Prof, you know, I'm doing everything perfectly and I still don't have great eBay sales. That could be true, but it's probably not true. So, because nobody really does too many things perfectly for very long. So I would challenge you to find other avenues, you know, maybe things you have done the same way for a long time, or you thought the same way about them, but now they're not working. Because business does evolve and change, and you've got to change with it. I was telling Karen, I was listening to a podcast earlier about the rise of Netflix, how Netflix went from buying DVDs as a company and then shipping them out to people to rent for 2 or 3 days and shipping them back, to then they became a streaming company where they were just, you know, all of a sudden they had to totally course correct. They had to go from having warehouses and logistics to having servers and development software developers, to now they've even created their own production company and they produce their own content. So it's like they're a movie studio. You got to evolve and you got to change. So eBay is the same way. You've got to change and roll with the punches and see what's, you know, whatever's going to be different tomorrow, you've got to adapt to it.
And we're not going to beat ourselves up over it, right? We're going to, nothing that we did was, it's not like we were sitting on the couch eating bonbons for the last 3 months or whatever. You know, again, we made choices to do different things. So, Alexi, by the way, that Instagram photo that you posted showed my fanny pack, and I'm not happy about it. So
I make fun of her fanny pack.
We're not going to we'll explain that later. So we're not going to beat ourselves up over it. And we're just going to move forward, and we're going to adapt, and we're going to be more consistent, all of us together, because that's what it's going to take.
Machine rentals. I like that.
Yeah, there's been all kind of new ideas.
You know, I think
out
there was
there.
a show like that. There might have been a company like that on Shark Tank, right? Who you could lease their clothing or something like, or maybe they sent you an out. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. So they'd like send it to your hotel, so you don't have to pack it on the plane, right?
And then you give it back, and yeah, it was kind of interesting. I don't know if they ever got a deal or they did very well. So here it is, guys. Practice what we preach. So this all starts now, right now, today, not tomorrow, not some arbitrary time in the future, not 3 hours from now, but now. So I have things in there that I'm going to list as soon as this show is done, and this is just going to happen. You know, like there is no other priority. So that is the priority, and start.
Yep, we have about a couple weeks worth of inventory that we can put up, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a regular priority. Listings going to be, it will be a regular priority over the next 90 days for the rest of October and November and December. And then I'll kind of course correct and see where I'm at the end of the year after this happens. And I'm looking forward to it because I think my sales are going to, relative to where they're at, really go higher because of the fourth quarter, because of more regular listing, because of renewed energy and passion towards it. So I'm actually excited about it. As strange as this is like an opportunity in a really strange way, because, you know, you kind of have to fail a little bit to really understand success and what it takes to get there sometimes. And I feel like these last few months have not been such great results. So it's like, all right, well, now I can look at that and say, hey, I can make really quick improvements and see the results of that, which is always encouraging when you get, you know, you can see, you know, what happens from your efforts. That's always encouraging for me.
And October should be a big month for jeans sellers. October should be a big month for clothing sellers. I mean, it's amazing. After we did the inventory, and I actually put my hands on some of the things that we've been sitting on for a while and just kind of rolled my eyes. Some of those things have been selling over the last week, like some flannel shirt, some Ralph Lauren sweater from, you know, Lord knows where. Some, that gorgeous sweater dress. It was a Michael Kors that I think we got that first time we went to the outlet in Columbia with Tiffany. That went over to the Ukraine or something. I mean, it went somewhere weird, right?
It did. So, you know, I'm curious what you guys will do over the next 90 days. I mean, not there's some magic amount of 90 days, but that's roughly the end of the year. And then, you know, sales in the winter are not bad either for most clothing sellers. It really starts to slow down in the sort of middle or late spring. But I do, like, leave it in the chat or even a comment down below. What's going to be different, you know, over the next 90 days, over the next 7 days, today? What's going to be different for you? You know, say it here in the chat, put it in a comment on this video after it posts. Go on record, because I'm going on record. So, like, I'm here, I'm saying it, like, it's going to happen. You guys are my accountable partners.
We have 130 accountability partners right
now
there,
watching the show,
so,
and it's going to happen, you know. And
it just got real, Prof.
Hey, Hakuna Matata, right? Whatever I got on my shirt here. So,
so, and we can't end without, or in the outline without saying that sourcing, of course, will commence once listing levels out. Commitment to not buy anything else. No matter how good a deal it might seem, we're not buying anything else until those. Nope. We're really close to it being a death pile. Almost. We talked about the last time, but we have about 180 items that are on deck, and I think maybe a little less because you listed some already. But we've got a pile over there in some buckets that we need to address. So no, we are cold turkeying on the sourcing until we get a better handle. And hey, some people noticed. So. That's the extent of our Halloween decorations. And I have a pumpkin shirt on, but you can't see it. A reminder that it is the beginning of fourth quarter and that we will be dressing up again for the Halloween show.
I know, right?
I wanted to be Paul Bunyan, but covering Jason from head to toe in blue to be the ox was a little problematic.
I have sensitive skin.
So we're needing a new idea.
Yeah. So, so people are chiming in here and about all kinds of things, tons of listings. Midwest says by next year I'll be off eBay. That's cool. That's a great objective to go after. Someone's starting a new channel.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
see. Hey, the Steam store passed their net profit from 2016. Congrats. Woo! That's great.
Well, we had some. Oh, we talked about Camilla was close. Oh, Camilla needs to update everybody if she's here, because she was like that close to beating her year as well.
Right. Power Man said list, which is great.
Nice.
Jennifer's here in the chat saying she's been listing an average of 10 items a day. That's awesome. And her sales have been great.
Awesome.
See, there's some proof right there. Well, I mean, you know, it's proof.
It's science.
Science. You're so funny. It might be the magic number. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm saying the magic number to kind of tweak the algorithm. I don't know, guys. I mean, who knows what it is, but you've got to do what you can realistically do in a given day. And for some people, that might be just one listing. For other people, it might be 50, you know? So
in every case, one is always better than none.
It's greater than zero. So that's a good thing.
And hey, Jennifer's death pile is gone. High five for Jennifer. Woo!
Prof the ox, maybe. No, I don't think so.
Not gonna happen.
I sensitive skin. It's very sensitive.
That's
let's
18.
see.
Just got top rated seller plus. Woo woo.
Yeah, we have to call Jason Babe. That's pretty funny.
I call him Babe all the time. Babe.
Marvin says, I agree, you have to list daily. Yep, Marvin, totally agree.
Well, and I mean, even all this algorithm stuff aside, if you don't list, it won't sell, people. It would kind
of be like, we've talked about this example before. A retail store gets in a bunch of clothing in January and then never gets anything new the whole rest of the year. Like, that would not work, especially in a clothing store.
That's good.
Because you have seasons and people, you know, what they're buying in January is not what they're going to buy in July. So you've got to think about it that way in some ways, guys. And it kind of sucks because you don't really know how much you should do or what you should do when necessarily, but you kind of learn that about your own business as you go if you're paying attention. And you can kind of get, like, it almost takes a whole year before you really start to figure out, all right, I'm primarily in these niches. And if you've got any seasonality to your business, you can learn that over the course of a year, but you can't learn in a week. It doesn't work that way. Some things don't have any seasonality. They just sell well year round, and those are great. And there it's probably just staying consistent. Cooper says, did 90 listings this weekend. Woke up to 3 sales this morning. Who knew if you list it will sell? Man, that's a lot of listings, R. Cooper. Congrats.
That's pretty impressive. Good for you.
That is really good. If you did 90 in 2 days, that's fantastic. Let's see. Goal, reaching 500 listings. Goal, 5 items per day, eliminating the 250. I have ready to go. Yeah, and so Lady Halfling, we talked about in our death pile show a few weeks back, that would be a death pile. I mean, if you've got, you know, less than 500 listings and you've got 250, so if you can stay on that and you're doing 5 a day, in less than 2 months, they're gone. Like, you've listed them all. Think about it. And some days you might be like, hey, I feel like doing 7 a day, or, you know, you do 5 and want to do 2 or 3 more. So,
but you have to discipline yourself. Like, sometimes you're not going to feel like it. Like right before bed, you might not feel like going for a walk, but you probably should.
I believe that was supposed to be some sort of personal attack.
No attacks here, just examples.
Speaking of attacks, what do you got going on?
Oh, we segue. So we've been hitting a lot about, you know, things that I work on outside of this. And this is my week, Prof. To unleash the floodgates of everything Kaaren. And I'll make a comment in there at some point, but I'm starting a YouTube channel. And because I know, I don't mean it this way, but because I've been exposed to all of it before none of it, I know some of my options in advance, right?
Right.
So I've really been struggling with pulling the trigger. Like, the big thing for me was, what will it look like visually, and how do I promote it, and how do I just finally just jump off and do it? And first, what do you call it? Bottleneck. I was preventing myself from doing what I yearn to, what I need to do. So this is the week. I'm going to post my first video. I'm so excited. And I should say, it will have absolutely nothing to do with reselling.
Yep.
Can't tell you how excited I am about. No, I'm just kidding. So I write, and I'm a whole bunch of other things. And I would invite anybody that wants to come over to my
I might come over.
blossoming channel. It's, you know, it's going to be fun, but it's also going to be a little serious because I think there's some things that we can talk about, get a handle on, and we can, as humans, be better at. And I'm not going to go, he said I could say a little something about it, but just know that I'm excited. Well, no, I don't want, it's not the Kaarens show just yet. But the big hint is, you don't know, Jack, just ask Kaarens. That's me. That's what the YouTube channel is going to be about. And we'll talk about all kind of stuff. And we're going to do it in a kind, positive, like I'm not going to change. Like I'm still going to be the positive person that I am. But I want to kind of do some things where I'm making an impact, where I'm helping people and maybe making a lasting impression, a lasting impact on the lives of people.
You're getting requests and all kinds of things there.
Oh, what is it? I can't read. I don't have my glasses.
Skincare, please. You look flawless.
Oh, stop.
That was Holly said that. Let's see. Who else is there? So happy for you. Over on the weird side of YouTube, Clarence Ninja said. I'm not sure what that means. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, the happy weird, whatever. A lot goes into what that you could probably show that, right?
Yeah.
We're all like labels, right? There's lots of things that make us up. There's not just one thing. Like what you see when we're standing together, besides the fact that when we stand next to each other, there's definitely a height differential here. But what makes us unique is not one thing, but many, 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 many things, right? And so that's what we're gonna
people are asking for the link in the description, so we'll have to put it in there.
Maybe he'll put it in the thing, but I'll make a comment
I'll put it in.
here.
You have to give me a few minutes though, because it's not in there right now.
I'll make a comment in the chat, and then you guys can subscribe. Oh, I could have subscribers before I even have a video. How cool is that? I'm gonna make a thing.
I may never get the camera and the lights back, guys. It might be the end of one channel, the start of another.
Hopefully I spelled this right.
Sub to me.
Does it say sub to me, really?
Hi, everyone. Sub me.
Sub me. It's like the lingo. I'm talking the lingo.
Gosh. Yeah, so that's exciting. I mean, because, you know, guys, it goes back to you've got to do something that means something to you. And for Kaarens to go start a reselling channel really wouldn't make any sense because that's not what is impactful. I mean, it's impactful to her, but she's got other things that, you know, she wants to talk about and get out there. And I think that'll be really, really good for her. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. And yes, Adam, you're absolutely right. Right now, the Facebook and the website are private because I have to do some last minute tweaks. There are some things that aren't communicating correctly. But the Instagram is up. All I did was change my name. So my personal became my public.
So Mark says, I want a kitten video, a muffler bearing replacement video, and a blinker fluid refill video. You're gonna do one on refilling blinkers?
Challenge accepted. Fluid? I also know how to fix a Keurig machine when it gets clogged up and it doesn't percolate right.
No, there's no such thing as blinker fluid, right?
I don't care.
She actually would know that.
You gotta give the people what they want. And if Mark wants a blinker fluid, then by golly.
There's some pretty funny ones of people sending their kids in to buy that in auto parts stores, which are pretty funny, actually. Seen a couple of those. What have I created? I didn't create anything. It's always been there. Yeah, so a couple other things, guys. Luke and I have started this project, and it kind of ties in with the listing thing, which is going to be cool. I think I don't know if he started putting his stuff on there yet, but we've started this Google Doc spreadsheet, and our plan is to share it with everyone. And we're going to do basically 100 listings each. And mine will probably be just shoes and jeans for the most part. And our plan is this: half of the listings are going to be how we would regularly price an item, okay? And the other half, I kid you not, I've already started doing it, and it's pretty funny. We're going to price half of those items as 100 each at the top of the recent sold market. So like the other day, I couldn't believe it. It's like I had this pair of Levi's 515, and they were like size 8. I mean, these jeans were like nothing special. I normally would have priced them like probably 22, 23 bucks, 24 bucks with free shipping, somewhere in there, 25 maybe at the top. But it was one of these top pricing items. So I went and I looked at the completeds and I just started laughing because the highest price of that particular fit was like $48. I went, I have never sold a 515 boot cut for that high. So I went ahead and priced it at that. Now I will take best offer. Somebody was asking about that. Yes. And Luke and I kind of had a discussion about that. Like, how low should we go on the best offer and so on? And I'm not really sure where we fall on that issue yet. But the idea here, guys, is to see what happens if you take a chunk of your inventory and price it near the top. I don't mean what other people are listing their items for. I mean what have sold. Comparable items, you know, reasonably comparable. Obviously, it's clothing, so it's not going to be exactly the same. And just see what happens. See how high a price we can get. We're also going to track the metrics for both just to see how close we got to the list price. And we can also look and see how much extra profit, if any, the higher price ones get, as well as how quick they sell. So we've started doing it. It's going to be hilarious. I think Luke was out of town this weekend for a couple of days, so I'm not sure he got too many of them done. But it's going to be interesting to see how high a price we can get. I don't know. Have you guys ever tried that? And you guys in the chat, you've ever taken some items and just said, you know what? I'm going to price this near the top of the market, like what the highest price ones have been, and just see what happens. I really don't know what's going to happen with it, to be honest with you.
Well, and some caveats perhaps.
Yeah.
Because I've been asking him a lot of the questions that you guys are asking, I've been asking, and then some. Because they do need and want to sell things. So that we're clear, they're not going to sell it at the highest sold place and leave it there. Like the fact that that particular pair of jeans, for example, got attention, it could be argued that that's a win in the experiment column. Because, because maybe, remember, it's the whole perceived value thing. Maybe because it was priced so high, that's what got that buyer's attention initially, right?
Yeah.
And did you say, I'm sorry, that you're alternating, like one is highest, one is regular, one is
right. That's what we're going to do. And Krillin was asking if the price looks too high, put the item in the watch count website. Yeah, I know sometimes people will price things high to do, you know, nefarious things behind the scenes. But these are like jeans, and they're not going to be like, you know, if a pair of Levi's 515 sold for $500 pre-owned, obviously that doesn't make any sense. But I wouldn't price it that high and bring that kind of scrutiny. But if it's a legitimate, it's high, but it's, not crazy out there, I'm going to go with it and see what happens. I don't know. And it was so funny because as I was doing this, I said, you know what? I'm just going to alternate through this stack. I don't care what the jean is. I'm not going to cherry pick. And the next one I had that came up to be a low price, a regular price one, was a nice pair of diesels. And I'm like, man, why couldn't this be on the high price one?
Give it away now.
Yeah, and I think one of those had sold for probably like $110. But I couldn't price it that high because it was one of the regulars, so I priced it like at 75 or something like that. And it's going to take a while, guys, to sort of see these results, but we'll just kind of keep tracking them over time. I like to do this for at least 90 days. And it's not going to be like all of our entire inventory, obviously. It's just going to be what we kind of list over the next, couple weeks or so, and just see how it goes. But I think it's an interesting experiment to see those high price. I mean, how are people able to get high prices for items,
And realistic, because, we've talked about, and we should differentiate here because we did a show about integrity, like people that purposefully price things higher than they should.
Right.
And this is not that.
No.
This is based on actual sales, legitimate and realistic sales. And all he's doing is both of you are doing is pricing it at the top of the already sold pile to see if it's going to make a difference. And it's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see what it's like. I can't wait for Luke's perspective on how he's doing with it, because you guys don't sell the same kinds of things.
Yeah, right.
So it's gonna be fascinating to watch, because I think that there are some things that you will for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that goes back to, guys, you know, we said not researching new opportunities was one of the areas we'd fallen down on eBay the last 3 months. It's a new opportunity. Not, but if it does work, whatever work means, I'm not even sure what it working means at this point, then, you know, it presents some new opportunities for pricing down the road, which will be cool. And, you know, because I've always wondered about it, I'm like in the middle so that it'll sell quick. And I don't even know if that was true or not, if that was selling quick or not. So I don't really know what's going to happen with it, but I'm really curious to see.
I don't know what that question means. He asked it earlier.
Krillin with the super chat. Thank you, sir, very much for that. $2. We appreciate it. Awesome, by the way. I just want to say that for the record.
We were just talking about how awesome, Rob, you are the other day.
Yes,
so.
we were. How many out of stock before you have account trouble? So I think that question is how many times, like, you know, you sell something on eBay and you can't fulfill it because you're out of stock. That's a great question. But I would argue even one, you know, you're starting down that road. eBay saying, I have heard people with as few as 2 before getting their account suspended. Now, I have not personally experienced that, so I can't speak to the accuracy of that number or not. But I have heard that people have had as low as 2, and I want to say they had 2 within maybe 30 days.
It matters how close together, for sure.
Right. Because, you know, eBay's looking at like, you're not doing a good job, you know, meeting buyer expectations, which you're not. You know, if you're out of stock, that's, you got to fix that, whatever that is. So I don't know if that's a great answer or not, but I'm certainly not an expert on that issue.
We've come close, but especially with the multi-quantity listings.
Oh,
and
yeah.
things,
that was close.
Yeah, we've come close.
I was worried. I'm like, oh.
Been able to tweak it, and we've gotten a lot better. You know, with multi-quantity listings, when you go to relist, people tip for the day, make sure you double check your quantities, your colors, your sizes, if it's a multi whatever kind of listing, because what eBay will do if you auto relist it is they will relist it from the, this is like all gumbo, I know. So they'll relist it at the original listing. So they might re-up you at the 10 red size larges that you had, and you've already sold a couple, and then you've got 2 less than you thought you did, and just it's one of those things that still hasn't gotten better. And
some people are saying, Adam says he has to, right, and you know, I don't know that 2 is the magic number. And Debbie says I would send them something for free and send their money back, which is cool, but it doesn't necessarily help you with eBay. That's the problem. Like it takes care of the customer, but I don't know if it takes care of eBay.
Get on the phone. Look at that. I don't even know the number either.
Red Neckerson's Resales. I love that name.
We love that name, Red Neckerson.
For $1.87? Is that what I'm seeing?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Number of the day, $1.87.
That's a cool amount. Somebody said that's an interesting amount.
Thank you.
Red Neckerson, thank you for that. And if there's some story behind that, tell it in the chat, because that's kind of a cool amount just to pick, which is interesting.
Well, it's like me pricing patriotic shirts on merch at $17.76, right?
Right. And Amazon seller says you have to stay under 50% or 0.5% on your transaction defect rates. And obviously that's going to matter with how many transactions you're doing.
Yeah.
The fewer you're doing, the less room for error you have. The more any one impacts you, obviously, within a given time frame. So I don't know what to tell you on that, guys. Like if you're getting out of stocks, you've got to readjust and figure out what the problem is and fix it. Like that is something that will get you suspended and potentially banned from eBay. And then it's game over and you got to go do something else, which is not good. But more so than that, you just need to take care of the customers. I mean, they're ordering it. They think you have it. Even if it's eBay's fault or their glitch, you got to bring it up with them and say, like, eBay is not going to monitor your account for you. You have to do that. So when you see these problems, you got to go to them and say, issue, and they're like, oh, okay. And they're going to research it and figure out and decide whatever they decide. But it's up to you to take care of that, honestly.
And just like we're not perfect, eBay is not perfect.
Not by a long shot, as we learned during our inventory. So anyway, but yeah, that's
it's stuck because you put that.
because I put what? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like, the chat's stuck. And I'm like, the chat's not stuck.
It's stuck, see?
Oh, yeah. I was having a chat issue there. Sorry, guys. I clicked on something, the chat froze
A chat challenge.
on our end. So
did we ever get answer on 187? Because like 123 is a number for me, but maybe 187 is a Red Neckerson code for something. Who knows?
Go back and watch the inventory. Lots of people with defects and out of stocks. I've had a couple too, guys, and honestly, this is going to sound conceited, but I think I've had maybe 3 in the last. None of them were, I don't think were actually my fault. I think they all came from the multi-listing problem.
How is that conceited? It is what it is.
Well, because people are going to be like, oh, you're saying you don't make a mistake. No, I've plenty.
He makes mistakes.
Right.
We know.
Right. But you know, it can happen, right? It can happen to anybody and you don't catch it. Mistake, you don't realize it until somebody buys it. You know, unless you've just done an inventory, you're not going to know that you've got an item listed that you don't have anymore. Or
so Big Boy Hustle says what everybody wants to know.
Okay, so Big Boy Hustle says, couldn't you avoid a ding if you convinced the buyer to cancel? Yes.
Even I know that one.
You can. Successful at that before.
True story.
I've had to walk the buyer through how to cancel it. But I told them, I said, look, I sincerely apologize. I will offer you a discount in the future off of anything right now. Mm-hmm. But this is honestly a glitch, I believe, in the system, in their inventory. I would truly appreciate it. And they did.
Customer service. You still have to, even though you're maybe in your mind, you're not quite getting a bona fide good or service.
Right.
You are, and treat your customers well, and
sure.
It will overflow into your business. So can I, without going into a lot of detail, I want to say what you're not struggling with, but the thing that came up about the and the size thing. I have to tell you now because I've given too many hints. So without giving it away, one of these things that we're kind of talking about is we got an INAD, item not as described potential, where a woman ordered something from us and said that she got it and there's no size in it. All right. So sometimes, rarely, but sometimes we sell things without a size.
And we had listed it as a size. You know,
and we had called it a size something. So she sent us a picture of the label. And on that label is the size. So we're not sure, bless her heart. I'll start by saying that. Maybe she just doesn't know and she's a little panicky. Maybe she's trying to pull one over. Who knows?
I don't think so.
We don't go into it thinking ill intent. It's always positive intent.
Sure.
But clearly the size is on the label. So we took her picture and circled the size label and sent it back to her.
So we'll see what happens. But you know, it is in a weird spot. But it's there and it's there and it's exactly what I put in the listing was there. And it didn't fit her, which stinks because, you know, it's going to be a return. But as you guys know, with an item not as described, you have to, as a seller, have to pay for the shipping. So I have no problem giving the return. And arguably you could say, well, is it really worth all the time to worry about the shipping? But you know, $6, $7, $8 here and there, it starts to add up a little bit. So, you know, it's just one of those things where
make it go away, that person.
It's just one of those things where I don't need to pay for that if, you know, it wasn't my issue. And I had to literally circle it, you know, mark it up on a photo and send the photo back to her and say, it's here. Because she kept sending the same photos. And I'm like, it's in the photo you're sending me, which is the photo you took as well as it's in the original one. And you just move on from it, guys. You just hopefully she won't be too mad. She might be mad, but she's probably going to be mad at herself for not seeing it or just overlooking it, what have you. And so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I mean, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's one sale. It's one thing. I'm going to do my best to make her happy, but I got a feeling she's not going to be happy if she has to pay to ship it back. Well, she didn't pay shipping on the front end either. Let's be clear. So I already paid for that shipping. So I'm like, I'm not paying for another shipping. I could have just refunded it to her.
Well, and those jeans where somebody wanted to return them because they weren't flare or they weren't skinny or they weren't whatever, we referred that customer right back to that jean manufacturer's website. And by definition, we were right.
Yeah.
However, as much as some of us like to be right a lot, sometimes you just have to suck it up and be a good steward and acquiesce or whatever.
That was interesting because they had said, well, these jeans are a flare. They're not a boot cut. And I pointed them to the manufacturer's website, which said that particular fit only came in boot cut. So, but it was a wide boot cut. It was a 20-inch leg opening, which for most jeans manufacturers is kind of at the high end of the range for a boot cut. Usually any bigger than that, it is considered a flare by most jean manufacturers. But, you know, she still thought I was somehow at fault. And I'm like, she's like, you should have disclosed that it was bigger than a normal boot cut. And I'm like,
do you think that the jean manufacturer puts that as like a sideline on their advertising?
Like, I don't know what, like if I have done that, then somebody who legitimately is looking for the boot cut thinks, well, wait, is this too big? Like I'm expecting a 20-inch leg opening. You know? Some of these guys, it's just how far down the rabbit hole of lose and suck are you going to go? You know, like that illustration?
It's the word of the day, sucks. But, you know, if it's a butternut pair of jeans, then people are going to search for, I had all these words swimming around in my head and I thought
that was the one that came out.
It's autumn, butternut squash, just roll with it. So if somebody's looking for that particular make and model, they're going to put it in their search, right? So you would hope that, you know, but not all buyers are educated buyers. So again, we kind of have to, it ebbs and flows and we kind of have to give in sometimes because it's just what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tricky because, you know, the biggest thing we're dealing with here, guys, is buyers buy stuff and they get it and it's not what they wanted.
Or thought it was going to be. Or they change their mind.
And they're upset, but instead of looking to themselves for the answer, they tend to kind of point at the seller or point at anything. They'll sort of take the blame off of them or the financial responsibility for the item. That's just human nature. I mean, it's just what you deal with. If you're a reseller, you're going to deal with buyers like that. It doesn't make them horrible people or anything like that. It's just how a lot of people think about it, you know, and sometimes they are right. You know, that the seller did screw it up and should have said this or shouldn't have said that, you know, or shown a photo of this or that. But a lot of times it's just people with buyer's remorse, you know, and that happens, but I don't know.
Take good pictures, write good descriptions, be thorough, do the best you can, and then go from there. We'll update on what actually happens with this one. But if the reason for the INAD, item not as described, was there is no size, and it'll be probably just a phone call to say, it's there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But all right, guys. So I hope you guys improve your sales if they're sucking right now. You do whatever it is you need to do. We gave you we gave you some suggestions of what we're going to do. That's all we can control is what we're going to do. We can't control what you're going to do. I'll put Kaarens' info in the description after the video post. So check out her new channel that's coming.
First video will go up this week. And what's cool is because it's new.
She's on record.
There are no ads.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already checked it out. I'm so close to 10,000. Gosh, it's like killing me. It's like just inching up like a subscriber at a time. It's crazy.
I think you should go live from this moment forward until you reach 10,000.
I'm not doing that. Then it's like people will drop off just on purpose. And like, oh, let's make them see how long it's still alive. All right. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday and a good start to your fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is Kaaren.
And Prof Sales
saying good sales to you.